94 Rocks, Jay-Z once again backstage live at RockFest 2025. And sitting to my left and just getting off the stage a little bit ago is Lee, the lead singer from the band The Funeral Portrait. And first of all, first time I've seen you play in person, amazing set. What was it like for you today to play out in front of all the crowd?
It was insane. I mean, there's a few things here. One, when we're setting up, there's no one there. And I kind of forget that the way this festival kind of runs, they kind of like get people to leave and then come back, leave, come back. You know, it's one of those things. And I was like, oh, guys, we're about to play to 10 people. And then all of a sudden we press play and it's time to go. And you're like, oh, wow, there's a lot of people there. So it was crazy.
You mentioned playing in front of 10 people. You've done it before, I'm sure, back in the day. Things have changed, let's just say maybe in the last couple of years, haven't they, for this band?
Yeah, like insanely changed. So basically last year, Five Finger Death Punch took a shot on our band and was like, we want a young new band to open the tour. We'll give them like 20 minutes. Let's see what happens. And they enjoyed, I guess they were fans of the music. They had seen the show. Someone in their camp saw the show, and they're like, let's do it. And it happened. And we did that whole tour for about 2 months, and it changed everything.
I was going to say, it had to blow your mind, I guess. And as a young kid, maybe growing up, obviously don't really know your background in that, but you must have had some inkling in there that you wanted to do this sometime, and here you are today.
Yeah, it's crazy. On this last tour that we just did with that band Ice on Kills, we played our hometown in Atlanta, and we played the Tabernacle, which is where I saw my very first show ever, and it was My Chemical Romance there. And that was like my band growing up. I saw my very first show. I'm a little older, so it was like 2004, right? Right before that band became like the biggest band in the world. And I was like, that's the show. My very first one being like, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do it. And then we finally got to play there, and I'm like, no way. Now I can retire.
And for you guys, it's crazy because obviously you've got some songs you've had out, but really got a push to rock radio in the last year and a half. And not many bands can say the songs that go to rock radio instantly become number one hits. How much has that changed your life in that short time? And is it a little overwhelming maybe?
There's a little bit of overwhelmingness, I guess, well, shall we say. But it's wild because I never thought that our band was going to be taken so well at radio. I think that's kind of it, right? Is we didn't go and write songs to be on the radio. We never sat down and we never were like, this is going to be a radio smash. It was just like the tour happened, radio liked the song, and it just went. And then after the tour, earlier this year, we released Holy Water with Ivan, and it was like the same deal. It was literally the same deal, where it was like radio just is begging for new music, new younger bands, and they're like, we love this song, we're going to play it, and it's wild because you talk about it, like, I think the only other artist in rock radio history that's had a number one the very first time they went to rock radio was Jelly Roll. And like, the idea that us and Jelly Roll are the only two the first time we go to rock radio, and I'm like, all right, that's a little crazy to think about.
So the crazy thing is, there's a couple questions at that. First of all, now, obviously, a lot of bands, I don't think they think we want to put a song on radio. We just want to play, and because we love playing. But are you starting to embrace radio now because of the success? And secondly, how are you going to use that to your advantage, I guess, with this band?
I absolutely love radio. Anytime, Jackie, who kind of runs all of our campaigns and stuff, anytime she calls George, our manager, and it's like, hey, George, will the band do this? He doesn't even have to call me and ask. He knows that we're going to do it, And so for us, I just am like, let's do it, And that's kind of where we're at is I'll do anything. Literally, you ask for it, and I'll do it, And I think what it is more bands need to be like that, because for us, we worked 10 years to get here, right? We played many of 10-person shows to get here, and now we can play these rock festivals and have the crowd at least know 2 of the songs because of radio, and then maybe even know more because they heard it on rock radio, and then they go deeper into the catalog. They go buy the record, or they go listen to it on Spotify or whatever, So for me, I'm forever grateful for it. And it's honestly just a dream come true.
Yeah. Obviously, you're not somebody that just got instant success because you've worked your ass off, we could say, to get to where you are today. But right now, you are kind of at the top right now, and obviously you want to stay there. So there's got to be a lot of things going in your mind right now of what you want this direction of the band to go next. What maybe are some of those things that you're thinking about, since you've done some collabs here already with some of, obviously, your label artists and that? What are some other things that you're thinking about?
You know, I think what we're really going to focus on a lot with the new stuff is, I think it's more about not a concept record, more or less like a record that is fully what the Funeral Portrait is, right? And a lot of this last record, it was recordings from 5 years prior, because we started work on this record in like 2019. And then it was like, oh, well, then half the songs made it to the record, but then the other half we recorded literally like 2 months before the record even came out. You know, it was one of these things that so when we're going in now and working on new music and what's next, it's all about, one, the passion, two, finding what the Funeral Portrait fully is, you know, and we are a very theatrical band on stage. We want to bring that into not just the songs, but more into the stage.
Absolutely. Of course, you had a chance, as you mentioned, Five Finger took a chance for you guys to go out, and now here you are today, and there's going to come a time where I think this band's going to continue to grow to have the success that some of those bands have had. So the question I guess I want to ask is, once you get to that point, maybe where you are a band that can do some touring as you're the headliner, who would you like to bring out? Who would you like to maybe try to help out in the industry itself?
So there's a few bands, you know. So there's this band from Europe called Creeper. They're like, it's weird. They're like punk rocky, but they're very like old school Misfitsy. It's like punk, but it's cool. It's a cool vibe. They're young. They're cool. So like them, I love them so much. There's a band that's playing today here called Archers.
Yes.
So, yep, exactly. So, we toured with them earlier this year, and we just became best friends. So, like, even today, they have like a really tiny green room that has it's like a porta potty green room. So we're like, come over to our green room, you can use it, you know, because like we love those guys. So yeah. I think them two would be incredible.
That's awesome. How about some other things you're thinking about mind-wise? Because I see you got a creative mind, definitely, and the things are moving on there. But I guess now, coming off this second #1 song with Holy Water, what is the next step then for this band?
Maybe one more single, right, from the record. Can't say what it is yet, but maybe one more, and hopefully, you know, that would be cool if we got 3 #1s, you know, we'll see, but maybe one more. And I think kind of lots of touring, because again, like, these festivals show that people want to see us, right? And I really want to tour off this record, not beat it to the ground, but enough before the next one comes out, because if I don't, I feel like there's a lot of songs that we don't get to play live that are somebody's favorite, that if we don't play it during this cycle, they'll never hear it, because, I mean, literally, like, we won't have time.
Well, that's a good question, because a couple of years ago I sat and talked with Ronnie Radke about singles, albums. Obviously, he went the single route because the attention span of a listener is very short term. I'm old school, so, you know, it's more albums. You want to kind of see what the whole body, the whole base of the thing was. Well, I guess what's your take on what you like to do?
I like the idea of a record. I really do. I'm a fan of records. Now, I do know that singles are very important, right? And I know that you need the singles to blow up, yep, and then you do the record, right? So I think for us going forward, you know, I think we're still going to be very record driven, because I do think kids want a record. Look at bands like Ghost and what you just name it, especially in the dark world, right? They love records, right? They want to hold the physical media. They also want to hear the lore. They want to feel an intro and an interlude and all these different weird tracks, you know, a ballad. Because the idea is, like, there's songs that we play live. There's the song Blood Mother. That's not a single, really, right? It got a video, but it only got a video because we kind of we needed a video for it, because for the lore. But, like, it's not really a single.
Absolutely. I know we got to get going here because you've got a lot of stuff to go yet to do, and when you're a band with this popularity and it keeps rising, it's got to be a great feeling, but obviously it's time-consuming in that too. Looking at something maybe now that you've gotten to that next level, or starting to get to that next level, what's something that you're thinking of wanting to do, like maybe, hey, now I have the chance to do it, let's do it. Maybe it's play a certain festival. Is it playing a certain location? Is it having some kind of collabs with some other artists or something? I guess, what would you love to do?
I think the biggest thing is to do an actual, like, headlining tour, right? Where it's the right time and the right places, right? But it's an event, too, where it's not just going to be you show up and you see 2 bands or 3 bands and then the funeral portrait comes on and then, okay, I go home. Like, I want it to be a thing. Like, I want it to be an event. You know, I grew up being obsessed with musicals and stuff like that. So, like, almost like that. And not saying I can pull that off just yet. Maybe on the next record cycle. But I want to do more events. I want to do more things with it.
Awesome. Well, I tell you what, the future is bright. It's already there. So much fun to talk to you. So much fun to watch you. Congratulations on the success you've had and continued success in the industry. Thanks so much for hanging with me.
Dude, thanks for having me, man.
Once again, that's Lee. That is from the band The Funeral Portrait. Once again, we're backstage at RockFest 2025. It's Jay-Z on 94 Rocks.